Hello, Ender Sword here again. We are back at the Season 1 Open, and we just quickly jumped into Game 3 between LeGeND and Mysticism, both players from Micro Gamers. Kind of a team that to me kind of sprung out of nowhere, but they've got like 9 GMs on the team, if not more. LeGeND, I know, is a really good player. Mysticism, I actually don't know. I haven't seen him play before, but LeGeND, we were just at LAN ETS in Montreal a few weeks ago, and the winner of that was Root Massa, who went completely undefeated the entire tournament except for one game against LeGeND.
Wow.
So Massa beat LeGeND 2-1, but LeGeND the only player to even take a map off of him, which is actually quite impressive because nothing looked particularly close when Massa was playing people. So LeGeND quite well made it really far in that tournament. So curious to see his teammate Mysticism here as well, who is the Zerg up on the top right-hand side of the map. These players I expect to be fairly familiar with each other.
And fairly aggressive. We've gotten 11 racks into gas.
Yeah.
Here comes the SCV Scout, and this is the famous Steps of War. This is the map, as you can see, where a tank can shoot from your natural to almost his natural.
Yeah.
We are going to see likely some early Reaper play. I'm wondering if he's going to build multiple Reapers and continue to harass on that. I don't know if the nerfs to Marine and bunk barracks build times are sufficient that you can't just go ahead in 2 racks and just win almost every game. But I really want to see how this plays out. And obviously there's the Reaper and the orbital command happening from our Terran. This is the map. The Overlord literally gets in the base and can get away safely from a Marine. If that was a Marine, he can actually float it off safely and it won't die. That is how short these rush distances are. So kind of unbelievable.
Yeah, really true, but also so short, and I wish Massa was here. He'd probably be able to tell us, but having a barracks in your own base making a Reaper is almost as good as a proxy Reaper. This is no further away than you see a lot of Terran players build their proxy Reapers.
Well said.
It's really, really short distance, so this could be a really aggressive option. We do see LeGeND going for a second Reaper to follow that up, and the Ling's just missing it there.
These 4 Lings might be sacrificed.
Yeah, it does look like he's doing that. Baming Nest coming down. Speed is approaching the halfway mark here. So does he have actually the material just to even stop the initial Reapers? Just a couple of them coming up, not going up to 3.
And it's a factory follow-up. Now, I'm not sure if we can see if the Baneling Nest was scouted by the Reaper, and our Terran player he's building a command center. Now, that does help the wall off, but I'm not sure that that's the plan. And he sees an expansion. I don't know that he's expecting this Baneling bust. Now, was the Baneling Nest canceled, actually, if we take a look at our Zerg base?
Yeah, it was actually canceled off, so, yeah, interesting there.
A total
that
Reaper.
It wasn't there. I don't know that he actually got a look at it, but he just opted to go for something else, figuring that it could probably be scouted at any moment.
And he is this Terran is absolutely preparing for a Baneling bust. You do not build a command center, a bunker, an extra. You don't triple wall in unless you're expecting Banelings to come. Now, these Lings are probably going to be the only Lings that are made for a while. It's more than enough to handle a couple of Reapers. And thanks to this heavy investment in this Baneling bust defense, not many units are going to come out of the Terran for a little while. But he's still getting his tech. He's still getting his command center. Our Terran is not in a bad position at all, really. We'll see how this plays out. Hellion's starting to come out. What is the follow-up? I'm just trying to think when exactly our Terran is going to feel comfortable taking that natural, and if he's going to go into tanks, because that's what I really want to see.
Yeah,
I want to see tank action.
Out, and given the short distance, you can shell that natural from the low ground reasonably well and be reasonably protected in actually doing so. But he'll have to get a little bit of map control with these Hellions here first. Before he's going to feel safe in doing that.
And this was a map.
There's a tank for you.
Yeah, this is a map that was designed and played. It has never been played in a competitive fashion where you didn't have to research siege mode.
Right.
You just build a tank and it just shells the crap out of things. So, I mean, this is actually a really interesting play, and I think a very smart play to get those tanks out there. And I think we're going to see a very unusual push. We're going to see a 3 Hellion, 2 Reaper tank push. I'm hoping. Maybe he's just going to secure the natural. And honestly, as I said, we've only got the few lings. We've got the upgrades coming. We've got a little bit of creep tumors. The Bailey Nest is finally being started, but we're not going to see a whole lot of bio coming out of this Terran right now. We're going to see some heavy factory play. Oh, the lings are able to run in!
Really good play there. Just moving him slightly out of position as they stream into the mineral line and start going after SCVs. Only one taken out there so far. Could have probably finished that one off, or maybe gone for one of the mules. We'll try and double back for a second there.
You know what? That was actually even almost really cost effective for the Terran. He lost a little bit of mining time, but compared to the units lost, he's doing fine. But that did pull back the pressure. And the reality is if this army had moved across the map and attacked the Terran, attacked the Zerg would have just died. He was not ready for something of that magnitude.
No, definitely the case there, and he's getting some banelings ready now. So after the initial cancel, the baneling nest didn't allow one to complete later on. And here's what we were talking about, sieging from the low ground.
And look at those
There's
SCVs.
even SCVs, with this to repair this position, and it's going to be really hard for the Zerg to wrap around and actually take this out.
It's so smart to bring the two Hellions up there, sent the SCV to get the early vision, and then the Hellions came in not taking the fire, and they are just hugging right in there, and there's going to be permanent vision. He's going to try to run in and pick off those Hellions to take out the high ground vision, but I don't know it's going to be very easy. There's micro going on both sides. So much damage is being done. This doesn't seem like a lot, but the Queen is dead, and this Spinecrawler is going to die very, very shortly.
In a good position, and while that was going on, these lings that considered a flank for a short period of time, going in for the counterattack at the natural, forcing that to lift off, so at least kind of trying to keep the economies evened out, but
oh my god, look at how ugly this is.
Tank support.
Oh, those
lings
lings
to this position, even falling back to Marines. The Reapers there, the tank fire shelling down. It's just ugly. This point does have to pull the lings back to try and stop it, but this hatchery will end up falling here as the banelings come in to try and save it.
Those tank shots! Ah!
Pretty good.
He killed off some things, though, actually. That was surprisingly even trade. The scan's up there now. It's really the only thing giving division. They're still the two tanks. Nothing's happened to these tanks. Nothing will happen to the tanks unless the lings can get in there right now and maybe kill off that one tank. No. Alright, so if you build your base to defend against a baneling bust, that is probably the best you can possibly have to hold off against any kind of counterattack. And the Zerg, without units out on the map, it's almost impossible to hold this. Now we're up to 4 tanks. If 4 tanks come up to this base, I mean, really, it's just a matter of time for our Zerg, who's building a second hatchery in his own base because he needs the production. He's got no other choice. The Zerg was making the right plays conceptually. He was getting the spine crawlers. He was getting that creep all the way out there. He needed time. He was delayed because he was going into that initial attack and had to switch over. And our Terran player really not delayed by much of anything by making a bunker, and that was about it. That delayed his push.
And we'll push up finally onto the high ground here with one of the tanks, 2 of the tanks now. 3 not even bothering to siege up, just going for direct damage against these units. And maybe one last little bit of an attack with the lings, but I think he's going to be left with just tanks, and that's going to be fine. That's just going to be all right.
No, but that actually shows you how well the Zerg played this. I want to put this out because, I mean, okay, he lost, and it was a dominating victory by the Terran. But when he only has tanks left at 2 separate scenarios, the Zerg only needed just a few more lings, just a few more units. You kill off 1, 2, 3 tanks. All of a sudden, that push has stopped. You can recover, you can build, you can go through, and you can make that, well, a difficult game, but you can make it a real game.